Hello and thank you for viewing the No Limit Tax Refunds software video. Wanted to start out just by visiting our website real quick and giving you our contact information and our website that discusses the No Limit Tax Refunds business opportunity. Please feel free to contact us either on our website contact page at NOLIMITTAXREFUNDS.com or by phone at 855-767-1040. Again, this video is for software training purposes, just to give you a brief introduction and overview of the platform. And we're going to go there now. And what we're going to do is log into the software using the No Limit Test preparer name and password. So if you wanted to go in and browse around the software and just try it out, you can use this URL above, nolimit.cloudtaxoffice.com, and the password is NoLimitTest, and the username is also NoLimitTest. I'm using Google Chrome as my browser. This is 100% web-based software for individual tax returns only. It's extremely easy to use. It's very friendly. Beautiful part about it is it works on any computer with an internet connection or a tablet. You can do tax returns on your phone. Works on any browser. I'm using Google Chrome, which is my preferred browser. But if you liked Safari or Firefox or Internet Explorer, whatever you choose, those will work fine as well. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. I'm just logging into the individual tax office. This is my home screen of my tax office, which is demo 123. And as you can see, it's very simply laid out. Everything's clearly labeled with the definition under it. Start a new tax return, create a brand new tax return for a client, which this is where we're going to spend the majority of our time. We're not going to touch too much on navigation through the client list. Configuration, you won't be spending very much time. We'll assist you in setting that up one time at the beginning of the season correctly for your business, so you won't have to revisit configuration very much. You also have reports, printing checks, and then access to prior year tax return if you needed to prepare a previous year. Now, much of this stuff is an administrative video. This is just for a tutorial on how to go through a basic tax return. So again, we're going to start at this Start a New Tax Return tab. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Select. It's giving me a quick reminder of, did you get the 7216 sign, which you're supposed to get that signed up front. That's the consent to use tax return information IRS document. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I'm going to double input the Social Security number here. It's going to pop up, and I'm going to put in 600. Let's change that real quick. Beautiful thing about this software is, just want to point it out right out of the gate, if you are a Spanish speaking preparer or you feel more comfortable in Spanish, you do have the Si habla español, and you can switch everything into Spanish right here from the beginning. And now everything is in beautiful Spanish. So I'm told. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm going to go ahead and change it back to English. Okay, I'm going to type that social in again. And I'm going to click continue. So as you can see, it's very, very friendly. The program, as you're going through, works very much like you're reading. It works from the left to the right. As you can see, we start at basic information, then we're going to go to the federal section, to the state section, and we're basically working just straight across the screen. Now, when you're in one of these sections, it's going to drop down and give you the subsections of the basic information. So you can see basic information. Within that category, we have filing status, personal information, and dependents. Now, within each of these sections, or the majority of sections, you have one of two ways that you can proceed. Either you know what you're doing and you're comfortable with making the selection in terms of your filing status by yourself without additional help, or you have a wizard here to assist you in determining how you should file. Now, I'm going to just say we're head of household, and click continue, but the wizard would take you through a series of questions that would help you answer them. So I'm going to put it here, test return, date of birth. I'm going to do 08. Oops. Helps if your numbers keys are on. Let's do it this way. 8 of right there. Go ahead and say that we're in sales. We're just going to tab through these boxes. Now this is your basic client information sheet. It's extremely easy to navigate. It has a zip code lookup, and we're just going to say that we're in Florida just to keep it simple and not add a state return to this. Putting in the phone number, and I'm going to click continue. On the next screen, I'll point out some very nice tools and functions. So as you can see, it's asking me dependents or qualifying persons. It gives me a definition of what that means, and then asks me a question. Do you have any? Now over here on the right hand side, I've got my form finder. So if I typed in 1099, it's going to actually pull my forms up. So at any point, if you want to jump past a section or you want to navigate away from where you currently are and just go straight to a form, you can go straight into forms mode and do your data entry at any time. You can also see that it is calculating my federal refund as I go, so you can see where you're at as far as the refund back to the client. I'm going to go ahead and say yes here, that we do have dependents, and enter in some data. And it pulls the last name forward for me automatically. And we'll just go right there. Social Security number. And we'll say S for son. Live with me for 12 months. Now, if your dependent was a full-time student and you check this box, you're going to see it drops down a box asking you for the school name. Or if your child, unfortunately, was disabled for whatever reason, it's going to drop down and ask you for the type of disability. And we're going to go ahead and just continue on. None of those circumstances apply. And if we had additional dependents, where would we enter them? We would just click add right here and add that additional dependent. For brevity's sake, we'll leave it out. We'll just keep rolling. So, like I said earlier, you have two different ways to proceed in the majority of screens. Now you can see we've moved on from the basic information to the federal section. And under income, it's giving me the option to use the wizard or enter myself. And you can jump back and forth between the two of these, either the guide me or enter myself, because again, over here on the right hand side, we have the enter form number or form description search. So I'm going to click guide me, and it's asking me, do you have any W-2s? In our scenario, we do, so I'm going to go ahead and put in yes. And I don't have my EIN database built up here, so I'm going to have to put in all of the information here. 1040 Easy Co. and 255 Easy Street 016, and we're good there. We just go ahead and put in our wages of $23,500 and $2,850 in federal withholdings, and I'm just going to drop down here and click continue. If you needed to put in some elected deferrals, you can go ahead and pop those in right there. I mean, it looks just like a W-2. So very, very simple to navigate. Now, if you mess anything up on a form, you leave something out, like, for example, the employer ID is not valid. Perfect example. It will make a record, tell you immediately that, hey, your EIN number is not making sense to us. So we'll go ahead and change that up, see if that takes care of it. And it will let me know. And now that's a valid range for an EIN number. You can see it's giving me an estimate of my federal refund, or an actual of my federal refund. The program does make the assumption that the qualifying dependent is EIC eligible at this point. So that is including the EIC amount, even though we haven't done the due diligence, which we will take care of here in this e-file section. So if we had additional W-2s, you just click add. You can see the program is very consistent in the way that you're inputting information. And we'll continue to the next section. Now, do you have any 1099s? Let's say we don't have any of this additional stuff. We just want to skip straight to a Schedule C. We know that we have a Schedule C on the return, or Schedule E, or whatever the case may be. We'll just type in Schedule C, click here, type in business name as Paint Co. We'll leave the employer ID blank, we'll leave the address blank. It assumes that it's the resident address, and the EIN it'll just fill in using the taxpayer social security number. So we don't need to put much on this screen. And it takes me to basically a worksheet. It's got the questions about the operation of your business. 99% of the time you don't even need to click in here, but we will, just to show you that it's filled out appropriately. Our accounting method is cash, our inventory method is cost. We materially participated, and we didn't have any of this prior year information that we need to worry about. So now we're on to income. We're just going to put in our gross receipts for sale right here on this top line, and we'll say we sold $2,500 in gross sales, just a little part-time business that we're working on. And then we have our cost of goods sold for inventory. We're going to skip over that. We're just going to go to general expenses. Go ahead and put in $250 in advertising, $250 in insurance, business insurance. Let's say office expenses of $500. And for our purposes right now, this is good. As you can see, it recalculates at every point, so it's getting us some accurate feedback based on, are we doing our customer a benefit by entering these additional items or not. So it's very good. I'm going to go into my car and truck expenses here. And car and truck expenses, this would be for basic mileage. So we're going to put in that we've got our F-150 truck that we have for the business. And when did we put it into? 1/1/12. And it popped. Oops. Business miles, we drove 7,500 business miles and 3,600 commuting miles and another 1,000 other miles. We're going to check these boxes. Did you have another vehicle available? Do you have written evidence? Is it written? Great. Go ahead and click continue. It's going to again recalculate, show you what you're working with as far as the refund based off the information you've input. If you have any depreciation, other expenses for the business, you're going to go ahead and go down there. We're not going to get into too much of that. Now under deductions, again, you have the wizard or enter myself. So I'm just going to go to enter myself real quick because I know where I want to go. I want to go into my itemized deductions, which is clearly labeled there, and I want to do, let's just say, gifts to charity. And we had a cash gift to charity of church. That's who we donated to. And what did we donate? We donated some tithe and $500 on 1/1/2012. And click continue. And you can add some additional ones in there. I'm just going to keep it real simple, and you can keep adding in all of your cash gifts to charity if you have them. Now from here you can go to your state section just by clicking on state section, and would you like to add a state tax return? Now I'm going to click yes, and then we'll back out of here. But it's very nice. You can add as many states as you would like. You can click on the state. You can click on the drop down to add the state. However you want to do it. It's a very flexible platform, and allows you to again calculate as many states as you want to add. I'm going to cancel this. Do you mean to cancel a state return pod? Selecting a state will continue to summary. Did you mean? Yes, I did mean to do that. So from there, it's going to take us to our EIC screen, which we're going to answer these questions. Was a taxpayer a non-resident alien? No. You can hit Y or N to make the determination here, and you can also use tab and arrow up and down through each of these. Very, very simple. I'm going to answer. Did you document the additional questions? This is your EIC due diligence. You're only going to go through this thoroughly, much more thoroughly than I am now. Did you keep any of the documents below? Did you make copies of any of the below items to document the validity of their business? So this is for the Schedule C, not for the dependents. Down here, this is for the dependents. Does the child qualify another person for EIC? It gives you the tie-break rules, or the things that you need to read through and make sure that this doesn't apply. And then what did the taxpayer bring in to validate this this dependent and their ability to claim them? So we're going to say social cert. Why not? Go ahead and click continue. This is a miscellaneous statement. You can make it private, or you can send these along with the actual tax return to the IRS if you need to do a description. Something I failed to point out earlier is you do have a notes function. This is a very, very helpful tool. And then right next to that, you do have the helpful tools section as well, which there's a bunch of good stuff we'll get into in later videos. So I'm going to continue here. This takes us to our refund settlement page. So this is our customer's gross refund, and what they're expecting to get back. We're going to do a TSF bank check. I'm going to click next from here. So we're going to print the check in our office. We have $225 in prep fees, and I didn't put the electronic filing fee in my setup. So this would go in the setup. You can adjust up here if you need to. You can adjust the prep fees up if you need to adjust them up. And if you have the ability to, you can adjust them down as well. Now the system has the ability to automatically send out a check, or sorry, a test. I still said that wrong. A text message when the check has been printed. So if you put in your taxpayer's cell phone number in here and put in their cell phone carrier and say that they agree to the terms, when you print their check in your office, a text message will automatically go out to that taxpayer, letting them know that your check is ready for pickup. Now the only other thing you need to do is put in the driver's license or identifying information for the taxpayer. And it was issued on 01/01/2010, 01/01/2017, and in Florida. And I click next and save. And then I'm going to select what I want to print. So printing is done at the end of the tax return once you've verified it, or that all the information is correct. You've gone through the review with the taxpayer. You're going to print this information, 1 copy, 2 copies. What do you want to print off for the taxpayer? You are then going to mark the return as complete. And here is the net check less fees. So here's the gross check amount. Here's all the fees corresponding in here. Just obviously these are not accurate fees. But then we have our net check amount, and then we just click save and transmit. Now that file is gone. It's on its way to the IRS on a dummy even, so it will reject back to me, but we will see that it is now in our client list. Okay, so that's what we wanted to show you. We wanted to take you through the software from start to finish of a basic tax return. We will have following videos that will cover more of the admin function of the software. But thank you very much for your time. Again, we look forward to speaking with you. You can contact us on NOLIMITTAXREFUNDS.com on our website, on our contact page, or by phone at 855-767-1040. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.